Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Walk in Purpose with Angela. Up close and personal with Angela. I'm sorry. I got too many shows, y'all. I'm sorry. Up close and personal with Angela on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. And I want to thank you guys for taking your afternoon to join in with us on today. I have a special guest with me on today, Miss Shelly Lee, and I'm going to allow her to come on screen and share just a little bit about who she is.
Hello, everyone. I thank Angela for this opportunity, and I have to thank Jarmel Roberson from Swag Her for making the connection. I am Shelly Lee. Shelly Lee is shy. Shelly Lee is quiet, observant, smart, sassy, and smart mouth. Besides all those qualities, I'm a mother. I have two children. My daughter is 26. My son is 24. These earplugs. And then I've never been married, so I am single. I am waiting to be found for those guys who are out there watching. Also, I am the oldest of four. I am a spoiled oldest child. My mom and I, we're more friends than mother and daughter, but I know when to cross that line and when to back up. I'm an author. I have an associate's degree. I have a bachelor's degree, and I'm currently working on my master's. I'm an author of two self published books, and I also help other people self publish their book. That's for starters.
What's the name of your books?
The first book is God Spoke and I Listened. And then the second book is based on a series. It's called the Shelter series, which was inspired by my life, and it's based on the theme of love. So the first book of the Shelter series is called the Shelter series, An Unknown Love, Book One. That book chronicles me growing up without a father. And you know how they say your dad is your first love. I didn't have that. So I chronicle what happened when we met, how I felt as a child growing up, and things of that nature in that book. God
Wow.
Spoke and I Listened is based on trials that I've overcame and how God gave me a word. Let me switch these out. Okay. And how God gave me a word for each and every trial that I encountered. Relationships, love, family, friends, neighbors, feeling down on myself, things of that nature.
Wow. Wow. Do you happen to have your book with you?
I didn't bring the other one, but I keep this copy with me.
That's the one I want. God spoke and I listened. That's the one I want you to share something out of that book because that book just touched me. I want you to
Okay.
share.
Okay. I have so many different chapters in here that I do love, but I think the first what inspired this book was growing up. You know, I'd hear the pastor say, God will speak to you if you just ask him. Ask God to speak to you. He'll give you a word. He'll give you a word. And I'm like, God ain't gonna speak to me. Not saying I was being a horrible or sinful person, but I'm like, he ain't gonna speak to me. He don't know what he's talking about. And they'd say he's a still, small voice, quiet voice in the storm. And I listened to all that. So one day I was like around 22, 23, and I was laying in my bed, and I kept hearing something talk to me, and I'm like, okay, really not paying attention, but okay. And then the more I listened, the more I felt like, okay, this has to be God speaking. So he ended up giving me my first message, and that was the first time I heard him speak, called Have You Done Your Laundry? And in that message, it compared your life to washing clothes. So, when we're dirty and full of sin, God has to wash us. When you wash clothes, you got to start off with your detergent. God cleanses us with His blood. God cleanses us with His blood, so we clean our clothes with the detergent or Dawn dishwashing liquid if you done ran out of detergent that day, and the blood of Jesus. Then there's the rinse cycle. In the rinse cycle, the dirt is flushed out and clear water starts to come in. When we've been washed by the blood of the Lamb, we're clean, bright as snow. Once you finish doing your once the wash cycle is over, then you got to fold up the clothes and put them up. Once you become a new creature in Christ, all that old stuff you used to do is done and in the past. So that was the first message he gave me, and how he compared it and how he gave it to me word for word. After he got through talking to me that day, it was like from 12 midnight to like 3 in the morning. I got up and wrote all that down, and that was the first time I ever heard him speak.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
You would not believe what just happened to me. Like me and this young lady just had this conversation before I got on this live with you.
Okay.
We were just like we literally it just inboxed each other, and I told her to call me, and we talked on the phone, and we literally just had this conversation. Like literally, like when I tell people that God be lining up stuff across these platforms, they don't
Divine,
understand how powerful these platforms are.
divine
He
connections.
don't just bring people on these platforms. He
Hmm.
bring people on these platforms that have a message that needs to get across and that people need to hear right now.
Right.
And he allowing these platforms so people can tap into these messages, because literally I didn't know anything about you. I didn't go. I do that on purpose because I don't want to know everything about you before, because I want to be authentic. I want to be able to find out about you just like everybody else finding out about you, so that I can ask my questions too. You
All
know what
right.
I'm saying? That's
Authentic.
why I do things. Why I do things. You know, I want the spirit of God to flow through me. You know, whatever he direct me to ask, that's what I want to direct to ask. That's why I don't do the
Understand.
set questions. A lot of people be sending me messages about
I was
questions.
wondering about that. I was like, where the questions at?
And they're like, what are questions at? I was like, I need questions. I was like, I can send you questions, but I'm not guaranteed that I'm going to ask you them questions. Because, like, right now, I want to know, what is the word power to you? Where did you get your power to write these books? Because you definitely had to exhibit some power in writing these books. You
Well,
know, you had to go through a healing process.
true.
You had to tap into some things. You know, God been dealing with me with words, and he been downloading words into me. Like heal
Life.
is one of those words.
Okay.
Power
Healing.
is
Okay.
one of those words.
Life and love.
Yes, that's one of them.
Hmm.
Like I did a whole calendar. Like I
Oh,
got
really?
it's 12 of them, and he done downloaded some more since I did the calendar.
Oh,
I did the
great.
calendar this past weekend,
Oh, you need to
and
put that out.
I just did it. It's
Okay.
coming in the mail. I posted it on Facebook, like literally,
Cool.
and he done downloaded some more since then, like the word promise. Like, oh my God, it's just so many. Like we look at these
Listen.
words and we look at them in the way that they've been defined by Webster in the dictionary, and we don't look at them in a spiritual being, a
Right.
spiritual way. You know, we're spiritual people. We can't keep looking at things in the natural, because
True.
we're spirit,
True.
and we got to learn how to connect to that's within us.
Yeah, the
That's just
source.
down in our soul.
Yeah.
That's what we got to start pulling on our power.
Yeah.
So I asked the question, what does power mean to you?
Well, power is, I can only say power is Jesus Christ for me. There was no escaping it. My dad, who I didn't know, but he was a pastor, he was a preacher. So there's the word on his side. My grandmother who raised me, my aunt who raised me, my mom, they kept me in church, Sunday school, Bible study, YPWW, all that church, 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 church. Every time the doors are open, Shelly had to be there. So it got to a point I said, when I get grown, I'm not going to church. I'm going to go whenever I feel like it. And it so happened every time there was a problem, I'm in them church doors. Every time I was pregnant with one child, I'm in the church doors. Every time the second child came, in the church doors. So my power is Jesus. There was no escaping. Like the prodigal son, you're going to return back no matter what you do. So
Wow.
that's my power. Where I consult him. I try to do the best to live the best life I can through him and by him.
He downloaded that word in me. It said the P stands for position. We got to position ourselves so that we can overcome.
Okay.
Because things are gonna come at us. Obstacles gonna come. Because if you believe in the word and you trust in the word, he say over in Luke 1:37, he said faith. It does not make things easy. It just make things possible. It just lets you know that it's possible, that you can do it. But things are gonna come at you. So we got to understand that we gotta overcome. But
Oh,
we
yeah.
gotta be willing. We gotta be that willing vessel
Hmm.
to empower others, to educate, to encourage. And then we got to show resilience.
True.
We can't just give up when things come at us.
Oh
We
yeah,
can't throw in the towel every time something tap us on the back or something stump us on the toe or we get cut on the finger. We can't give up so easy.
right,
And I'm just like, why we don't tap into that's in us. He told us he need to wear the comfort that's in us.
true. It's
He
true.
said he would never leave us nor forsake us. So we
Cause
got
he
to tap into the power that's within us. I'm about to leave that alone.
right.
I want to know. I'm about to leave that alone
You're right.
because I know this journey has not been easy for you.
No,
And being transparent and sharing, how was this? When sharing and reliving this story, how was this for you?
what story? Life.
Life. When you shared your story.
Life has not been easy at all. As you said, I was raised by a single parent. Um, she wasn't married to my dad, but she was married like to one of my other siblings' father. Um, didn't really get along. I could tell that, he didn't like me or whatever. So, that was my first, that not my first heartbreak per se, but that let me know, okay, Shelly, what's different about you? What's going on with you? What's the problem and everything? So I basically did form a good bond with my mom. She's still alive, thank God today. So me and her are the best of friends, but through watching her as a single parent, working two jobs, providing for us, I had to sometimes give up chances of having clothing and stuff for my siblings. I got my first job. I think I was in middle school maybe, and I got my first babysitting job. And that money I would give to mama to help out with my brothers and sisters. Fast forward, I always said, okay, since I didn't see my mama go through all this, I want to be married first, then I want to have kids. Well, we don't always follow that plan. So I ended up with a daughter, but her father and my son's father are the same father, but he had a crack addiction. So in living through that, there were times where he'd take different belongings of ours, sell things out the house, sell everything, food out the refrigerator, um, things of that nature. We'd come home, the house is empty. I go back, buy something else. He'd come back, and it's the same thing over and over and over. Deal with that for a long time, about 7 years. So I said, Lord, I can't take no more of this. So I had to end up hating him per se to overcome being weak for him. So what I would do is I'd walk around with a cell phone in one hand and a knife in the other hand. And so
Mm-mm.
if he came to my door, this is what you're gonna see first. And I'd have 911 already dialed, already, in the phone, and all I had to do is push the button if I needed to. Shelly, I just need some food. And my heart, I still gave him food and whatnot, but you weren't coming in my house. Then eventually he needed a shower. Okay, if I let you have a shower, you're going to leave afterwards. And it got to a point where, Lord, I said, Lord, I need you to take him. I need you to remove him, please, please. So eventually it got to be like more months down the road, and he wasn't coming by, but he had already had me in a mode to where certain times of the night at 3 o'clock, I know there's going to be a knock. And every night at 3, I get up, I check windows, I check doors, walking around with the phone and the knife and the phone and the knife, just, making sure the house was secure so he couldn't get in. I called the cops a couple of times, but he tell the cops, she crazy. I love her, but she just crazy. And he come right back. I never knew he was doing all that until years down the road when he told me all this. So needless to say, a couple of times I seen him riding a bike. He had a weed eater. Another time I seen him riding a bike, he had fishing poles. So apparently he didn't went and got this stuff and was pawning some other people's stuff and giving it to the dealer and whatnot. So eventually my deliverance came when one of his sisters called me and said, Shelly, he in jail. I said, huh? And she said, he in jail. You talking about rejoicing? I was rejoicing. Well, he had ended up going, sliding under somebody's garage. And when he slid under, the man had a pitchfork, one of these big pitchforks, and kept him at bay while he called the cops on him. That
Mm.
was my deliverance. That was my story. Today, I've forgiven him for everything. My kids do have a talking relationship with him, but he hasn't seen them in 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
So I say that to say, as a single parent, it's doing it by yourself. I never wanted to do that. It wasn't by choice; it was by circumstance. But we're so much better today. My son, like I said, he's 24. He works. He got him a little part-time job. My daughter's 26. She just graduated last year, looking for a job, and no problems other than the typical, family problems.
You said you was gonna need tissues. Now look.
Yes,
When I
ma'am.
tell you,
Now
people don't understand this
don't
journey.
cry because you're gonna make me cry.
When they don't understand this journey that we've been on, when I tell you your story, man, been
Now
there.
that's gonna be
I've
in a
been there,
book though. That's gonna be in
but
one of
I've
my
been
books.
there.
Hmm.
That's my testimony too. Been there.
Okay.
My, I just sit here and I'm telling you, if Stephanie Johnson Rice come on this live, she can tell everybody word for word what I just said before me and her just got on this phone.
Oh,
Word for word. If
wow.
our conversation is not similar, I mean, even your testimony. I mean, bits and pieces of your
Awesome.
testimony is my testimony. I'm saying everybody that has come across my platform, and then I used to wonder, but then it goes back to Jeremiah 1:5. You know, he called us in our parents' womb, in our mama's womb.
Right.
He set us apart.
Yes, he did.
So he already told us right there that he set us apart.
Hmm.
And then we wonder. I used to do the same thing. I used to wonder why I had to go through this, why I had to endure this, why I had to do this, why I had point blank range with a shotgun shot right here. That's me. That's my journey. Dad, crack at it. That's my journey.
Hmm.
Husband, crack at it. That's my journey. Been there.
Wow.
Understand. When I tell you people don't know the story, they don't know the story.
Right.
They don't know the story because I ain't told the whole story yet. I got 18 books out and it's just bits and pieces, just nuggets. When
Okay.
they hear the full story, they're gonna be like, "Wow,
Boom. Hmm.
wow,
Right.
wow." I'm scared to give them to it all at one time,
I understand that.
but I thank you. You know, it takes a lot to be transparent. Somebody tuning in, somebody listening, you know, they needed to hear just that, just how you gave it. You know what I'm saying? People need to know that it does not matter where you are, that you can come out of whatever you want to come out of if you want to, because you have a purpose.
Right.
You know, your purpose is it's not walking in anything that is not the will of God.
Right. It's true.
You got so many gifts inside of you that if we line up with the word of God, he would stir up those gifts in us. And everything that we could dream of doing or think about doing, he will allow us to do it. I never thought about becoming an author. Sitting here doing this and even having the radio shows that I do, I never thought who broadcasted me, a little old country girl from Levelland, South Carolina. I mean, one way in, one way out.
About like my city.
Nobody never. You know, and when God moved me from my country place to Atlanta, you know, I was like, okay, I'm seeing all this. And then I go back to the country. I'm like, how? And then he showed me. He's amazing.
Yes, he
You're
is.
definitely walking in purpose. And I thank you for sharing your journey. I want people to be able to connect with you and purchase your books, follow you. Do you do any type of podcast? Do you have any blogs? Do you do anything where people can follow you?
I just have my social, my social networks, which is Facebook and Instagram and all them. I am an author myself, but I also help other people write and self-publish their books. So I'm sitting on like book 3 and 4 right now. I got two clients I'm helping right now. And I like writing, but I got to find a way to manage getting money and also doing what I love at the same time.
That's it.
So no blogs or anything like that right now. I do plan on doing like a Saturday what do you call it, Facebook Live or some type of lives on Saturdays. So that is in the works to kind of talk and connect and share more about me.
Okay. Well, posted your publishing website.
Right.
So if they want to go over, what type of services do you offer?
Ghostwriting, proofreading, and self publishing, and also book coaching.
Okay. And they can follow you on Facebook.
Right.
And if they want to purchase your book, they can go over to PayPal.
Yeah.
And are your books on Amazon, or they can only purchase them through?
They're on Amazon also.
But it's better if they purchase them through you.
Yes.
And are they listed on your website or?
I'm going to be putting them on there today. I just got the website, started working on it, so they will be added today.
Okay, that's some great information. So if you go over to the website, you can find information about publishing, coaching, anything that has to do with books that's in her avenue. And also today you'll be able to purchase the book. Anything you want to share before we leave?
Um, just life isn't easy. You're going to have some mountains, you're going to have some valleys. You may want to give up, but don't quit. God does have a plan. He knew what you were going to do before you were born, and it's not always easy. I've had some, like right now, I'm going through something. I'm trying to make ends meet, and like here at my job, we don't you don't get promotions in this section that I'm in, but at the same token, I'm sitting here with a bachelor degree and I know that there's greater somewhere, so I am basically looking for more employment. So by going through that, then it's hard to make ends meet. And so I have to, sometimes let things go. So for instance, just yesterday, my gas got cut off. So what I had to do, I had to take my rent money, pay the gas bill. In the midst of that, my cell phone's off, but I'm able to get and receive calls, but I can't make calls. So you just never know what kind of struggles you're going to deal with, but you got to keep going because if you don't, you'll give up. And that's not the type of person I am. God has a way of dealing with me where sometimes I feel like everybody passing me by. She got all these books out. She got this, she got that. And I have to learn to not look at what others have and just wait my turn. I listened to a message somebody had sent me and they were like, you're going to get where you're going, but sometimes God takes you on the scenic route. And they were talking about how the Egyptians, the Israelites, Israelites were
Mm-hmm.
they were in the promised land, but they didn't know it because of all their murmuring, their complaining, and all this and that. So I'm learning to stay put until God moves me to where I need to be and to keep trusting and believing in Him because if He brought you to it, He's going to bring you through it. And you're like,
Woo! Because I just had this conversation this morning. I just had this conversation before I get
to
on here.
this
So it's just,
morning.
it's just confirmation. I just had this conversation with the young lady before we got on. I had to get off the phone with her because we was finna get deep. And I told her
Uh-huh.
I had to go do this interview. But
Mhm.
Psalms 46:10. He said, "Be still and know that I'm God." Everything that you said, I mean, it's his word. His word is not going to return to him void.
Right.
And that's a message that I'm trying to get across to people. It does not matter. You have done the most important thing. You've stepped out on faith.
Sure.
You're doing the things that you need to do. And in due time, the manifestation is going to come
Right.
because it's already out there. The things that he has ordained for you is there. You've put in the work and they're about to manifest because the action is done. He
I
said, "Be
receive
faithful
that.
over the little things and he'll bless you mighty."
Right.
The little things you do, getting on these shows, telling your story, writing the books, helping with the coaching. It's gonna pay off in due time.
Right.
See, our time ain't always his time.
True. Definitely true.
And see, sometimes we don't understand. I never understood half of over third of I'm gonna say a quarter of well, over 75% of the stuff that I've been through in my life.
Right.
I've not understood in going through, but now I can look back over my life and I can say, well, Lord, now I remember when I was going through that. Huh, you brought me through that.
Yep.
Man, I remember when I wanted to take my life several times. I am a suicide attempt survivor.
Wow.
I'm a domestic violence um survivor.
Right.
I know been in out in car accidents. I don't know how many times where I should have been dead and gone. I was in a car accident at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, flow of traffic in Atlanta. In Atlanta, 70 miles per hour, tie blowout. No seatbelts on me, nor my passenger had on the seatbelt. The EMT person said normally an accident like that, this time of day, there's usually fatalities. We walked away without even a scratch.
Have mercy.
And then I've been complaining all
Mm-hmm.
these years. Complaints about what? When all these times I could have lost my life. All them times I don't went to the club, partying in the club all night, hanging out. People don't got the shooting and stabbing and whatever else. Them bullets ain't had no names on them. And I could have been right there. Could have been dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
I would never fix my mouth again to complain about nothing. You keep praising him in the midst of the storm.
Right.
Keep praising him. Whew. I definitely want to stay connected with you. I will be following you. I think we are friends on Facebook because I
Yeah.
can't wait to see what God is going to do in your life. And then you bold enough to come on here and share it openly, publicly with everybody. You transparent because you want
Definitely.
people to be healed.
Right. No need to hide it.
So he ain't got no he. I can't wait to hear it. I gotta stay connected. Gotta stay connected because
Will
I already
do.
know what he's about to do. I already know what he's about to do for you. I already know what he's about to do for you. I just want you to come back on and share with us when he do. Okay.
I sure will. No problem.
I thank you for coming on and sharing today. I know that you are on your break and I don't want to take up all your time. I thank you. I appreciate you so much. I love you with the love of Christ. You
Love
be
you
blessed.
too.
You be
You
blessed.
too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
You too. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Up Close and Personal with Angela on behalf of Aspiring Authors Magazine. I tell you, I have truly been blessed on today. I hope you guys have been blessed. I tell you, it's nothing like transparency and people being able to share their truth in hopes of educating, empowering, and encouraging someone else to walk in their purpose. Miss Shelly come on today. She's come on and share her books, share her her journey, what she do, her brand, her coaching. But she shared her testimony. She was transparent to let you know that no matter where you are in life, God is there. I can't wait till He move in her life. And I want to be right here to share her testimony. Somebody out there, I want you to be encouraged on today. God has not forgotten you. Even in the midst of all that you're going through, have faith and believe. Stand on Luke 137. He said, faith, it does not make things easy, but it makes it possible. All things are possible through Christ. You got to know it. I love you guys with the love of Christ. And thanks for supporting Aspiring Authors Magazine. Have a blessed day.